Hello, dear students. Welcome to my online classes on financial management. Today we would be covering dividend. Okay, what is dividend? Dividend is that part of the profit which are distributed amongst the shareholders. And today we would be covering the theories, but before that, the theories of dividend. But before that, it is important to just have a you know knowledge about what is dividend, though I have covered it in my last classes, but still let us recapitulate what we have read. Okay, so whatever earnings that a firm earns, when it is distributed amongst the shareholders, we say that part of the earning is nothing but your dividend, right? Now, whatever earnings that you earn, either you can retain it for the future uses, future growth and expansion of the firm, or you can distribute it. So, this is a very, very important decision, or we say dividend decision is very, very important for a financial manager. Okay. Now, the question arises, is it really compulsory for every firm to distribute dividend? No. Dividend payment or the distribution of dividend is not a statutory obligation. Okay. But what happens when you pay? If you declare dividend or you distribute dividend, it is a return to the shareholders who have invested their money in your business. Okay, so when we take, in my last classes we have covered that when we are going to study the dividend decision, we have to keep in mind three important things. One is your quantity. Okay, quantity. Then is your timings, and then is your forms. Now, what is this quantity? How much are you are going to pay? What is this timings? When you are going to declare? And forms, in whatever form you are going to declare the dividend. So that is why we say it is the toughest decision that a financial manager has to he has to take this decision. And in my previous classes, I have also covered like if you pay in high quantity and in low quantity, and you pay if you are growing firm and mature firm. All these concepts are covered in my previous classes. Today we are going to cover that whatever dividend that you are declaring, are you really going to satisfy the shareholders, and does it really have an impact on the firm, or you are just declaring the dividend? There are various school of thoughts regarding this. You know, one school of thought says that dividend declaration is important, and it has got some bearing on the market value of the securities or the market value of the shares. And some school of thought, they believe, you know, that no, there is no relevance of declaration of dividend. Whether you pay dividend or you don't pay dividend, there won't be any impact on the value of the firm or the price of the shares. Okay, so amongst the relevance theory, today we would be covering the relevance theory of dividend. So let us just explore what is this. According to this concept, uh, you know, just a moment. Yes, according to this concept, dividend policy is considered to affect the value of the firm. Dividend relevance implies that shareholders prefer the current dividend, and there is no direct relationship between the dividend policy and value of the firm. Clear? Relevance of dividend concept is supported by two eminent persons like Walter and Gordon, and today we are going to cover the Walter's model. So, Professor James E. Walter argues that the dividend policy almost and always affect the value of the firm. That means it affects the value of the firm. When you declare dividend, it is having a bearing on the value of the firm. Before you can understand these two, how and when it affects, let us read further. Walter model is based on the relationship between the following two factors. One is your return, okay, and the second one is your cost of capital. We can also say this is R. We can also say this is R, okay, return or cost of capital. But before we can understand the relationship between the two, let us read the assumptions, because every theories are based and formulated on the basis of certain assumptions. So what Walter took as assumptions, he said that the firm uses only internal financing, and amongst the internal financing it doesn't use debt or equity finance, so it is completely the retained earnings or growth. The firm has constant return and cost of capital. It has a 100% payout. The firm has constant earning per share and dividend, and the firm has a long or infinite life. So that is very, very important, that the firm reflects only retained earning as a source of the financing. The rate of return and the cost of capital are remaining constant, and the firm has an infinite life. So as just now we read that Walter model is based on the two important factors, namely rate of return and cost of capital. Okay, so what we are going to formulate now, just listen to me carefully. Walter said that, or he believed that, when in a firm R is greater than KE, since there is no other source of investment, it is the internal financing. So the cost of the, here KE means the cost of the capital that you are investing, okay. R is the return that you expect on retaining the fund and using it elsewhere. So when R is greater than KE, the firm should, what it should do? It should go for retention. What does it mean? That means if the firm is retaining the money, whatever expectation, these two concepts I've already explained in my previous class by giving an example to you. I hope have remembered that. So whenever you are using the retained earnings and you are investing it elsewhere, the expectations on uh, that investment, okay, if it is more than whatever capital you have already employed, okay, then it is better to go for retention. So if R is greater than KE, you should not go for distribution, rather you should go for retention. Just opposite to it, if R is less than KE, that means whatever expectations you are no, you're expecting from the money that you are going to invest by retaining the fund is less than whatever you have employed, better not to retain that fund, and better you should go for distribution. Okay, in between the two you have got, if R is equal to K, that means it really doesn't matter whether you retain or you distribute. So we say it is completely indifferent, or we say it is indifference. The attitude is indifference. It is indifferent whether you, whatever earnings you earn, you retain it or distribute it. It is not going to affect anything. Clear? So what happens when R is greater than KE, you retain, then the value of the firm increases. When R is less than KE, or we say the MPS, market price of the share, increases. When R is less than KE, then you should go for distribution, because if you are going to retain at that retain the fund or the earnings, then it is not going to increase the value. Rather, distribution can increase the value or the market price of the shares. And if R is equal to K, it really doesn't matter whether you distribute the earning or you retain the earnings. So Walter has evolved this mathematical formula for determining the value of the market share. In many books, the it is written. This formula is written as P is equal to D by KE plus E is your earnings that you earn, D is your dividend. When you subtract the earnings and the dividend, you get the retention. Then you are multiplying the expected growth, whatever expectations you have on the retention, by the cost of the capital, whole divided by the cost of the capital. Okay, so what I can do is I can divide this in two parts. I can do that. Okay, I can divide this in two parts. I can show you this. This is one part and this is another part. This represents the growth of the or we can say that the market value of the dividend, whatever dividend you get, how much does it fetch in the market now, and whatever expectations you expect that you are getting a dividend or a growth in the firm, what is the value of that growth right now? Both combined together will give the value of your shares, the current value of your shares. Clear? So let us, this is the formula you need to write. D is your dividend. Okay. KE is your cost of the capital. Here everything is written, dear students. You can have a look on it. See, P is the market price of an equity share. D is the dividend. R is the internal rate of return. E is the earning per share. K is the cost of the capital. Okay. Uh, we would be solving some problems in my next video. I hope you have understood the concept, because unless and until we are literally solving problems on this, you can't understand how it is going to affect, or how the dividend distribution affects the value of the firm. So let us meet again in my next video. Thank you.